I can't believe I'm actually making this video. Today is Sunday the 15th of June and I have 5 days left of work for the whole year. 5 days. The 20th of June is my last day at work. Crazy. You might be thinking, Al, what are you doing? What's going on? We gotta rewind. In 2018, I was working at a school in a small country town in New South Wales. It was my second year there. I am a dance and PE teacher by training at university. The school that I was working at was going through a few transitions and my job wasn't guaranteed at that point. I was doing year-on-year contracts. I was on Instagram one day and this girl that I was following put up a job being like, anyone want to move to the desert in the Northern Territory and teach some high school students? And I was like, sure, I'll go for a year. I'll give it a crack. I'll see what it's about. It is 2025 and I'm still in the Northern Territory. I'm no longer in that community. I haven't been there for quite some time, but I did stay for 3 years. Taught the middle school class, years 7, 8 and 9. I was their sole teacher. I taught them English, maths, whatever subjects were part of the curriculum at the time. It's a remote Aboriginal community, people living by traditional law, language, culture. It was just such an incredible experience. I worked there for 3 years and I left because the school was very small. There was only 5 teachers and I wanted to work a bit more collaboratively with others to improve my practice. So I moved to a school double the size in the Big Rivers region, a few hours away from Katherine. I also taught the same year level, taught 7, 8, 9 there as well. I taught slightly different curriculum but similar subjects, and that was also a really good experience. Learned a lot. I met incredible people. I am a better human because of those experiences. Working in the Northern Territory government as a teacher, they have a scheme called special study leave, and based on the category of remoteness that you work, you accrue credit points towards using the special study leave. So I worked in the highest level of remoteness for 4 years, which meant that I had the full 20 credit points that you need to take 6 months leave to study at full pay. So that's what I'm doing next semester. My final year of being a remote teacher was in 2021. I left the bush and came into town, got a transfer into Darwin because being remote through the pandemic, everyone struggled through the pandemic and lockdowns and isolation and things like that. There are already so many complexities with living remote. Put pandemic on top of it and it's just really tricky. So I needed to look after myself. I was not the teacher that I wanted to be for those students and that community. I was doing them a disservice if I stayed. So I got my transfer, and my plan at the time was to work for 6 months, apply for my leave, and honestly quit teaching and never go back. And then the school that I'm currently at, I've had some really incredible opportunities. I've worked in several leadership positions now. Last year I noticed I was really struggling. I had a lot of health issues. My sleep was non-existent. My mental health was shocking. And I approached my principal and said, you know, like I would really like to take this leave, but I want to work it out in a way that like I get what I want, but I'm not also leaving you in the lurch. And so we came to a kind of agreement as to how, when I could take this leave in line with what the government sets, like the stipulations of when you can take the leave are. So you can either take it in semester 1 or in semester 2. You don't get to pick dates or anything like that. We came to an agreed decision about how this was going to work, and that is now what is happening. So when you apply for this leave, it doesn't just go to like a principal of a school, it goes all the way to the top of the department, and you have to nominate what you're going to study or what you're going to spend your time doing, what you're going to be learning, and it has to be relevant not only to you and your career but also the department, the school, like the broader education system. I have been accepted for a graduate certificate that majors in using technology and other innovations to design curriculum and assessment and provide opportunities for students to work in that kind of capacity. And I already do that in an element of my job, but I think that there are some like there's some formal training and qualifications that I can get that would improve my practice and my skills. So that is what I'm going to be doing full time for the next 6 months. I am also really excited to just have some space to do those things in a time frame that suits me. I think trying to fit in my work day when I have set hours the way that I do, go to the gym, get enough sleep, hit my steps, I think I just need to try something a little bit different in how I approach that. So I'm really excited to spend this 6 months figuring out what that kind of life looks for me. I'm really nervous not to have external structures in my day. My course is completely online. I don't have classes to attend. It's up to me to dictate and monitor and make sure that I'm doing the things that I need to do. Obviously I'll have due dates for things, but in terms of like chunking out my time and how I do things, my plan at the moment is once I have access to the course material, I will chunk out how much time I need to allocate to those things, and then I'm going to split that time 50-50, and at half of that time I will do my study from home and half of the time I will do my study from another location. So be like a public library, a cafe. There are some other locations that I have in mind. I'm excited to, excited to be one of those people who goes to the gym at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday. Like, just have that flexibility to do so. And it is such a privilege to be able to do full-time study and not have to be worried about finances. Well, 9 years since I finished uni. And yeah, I remember it very well, working multiple jobs and trying to do all the things that you want to do, need to do, have to do. But also, like, I worked so hard. I worked so hard for this. I didn't see my family for a really extended period of time. I've missed birthdays, I've missed weddings, I've missed family time. I have sacrificed a lot to get to where I am, and I don't regret those sacrifices. But people will say, oh, you're so lucky that you get this, and I am lucky, but I also worked really hard to have this. So like, two things can be true. That's kind of where my head's at the moment. So yeah, I'm gonna be studying. I am really excited to be a stay-at-home dog mom. There are some other kind of projects that I have in the works at the moment, some things I might need to hear back about. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So content's gonna shift a little bit because we're gonna add the complexities of study and chuck in a bit of travel in there too. We're going to Europe and the UK. I'm really grateful that I get this time to spend with my family. So I'll be spending a good portion of time in Sydney. I'm going to the UK and Europe to see family. Also just being able to spend more time with David. There's just so many aspects of my life that this benefits. So that's really exciting. My office is kind of set up to be used 1 day a week. There's a bit of a renovation happening in there at the moment. I got a new office chair last week. It is super comfortable. I definitely test my relationship by telling David to build it backwards at 9 o'clock at night, but we've survived. The chair is fixed and relationship is good. I have all my tech that I need to do online study. I'm basically just waiting for content to become available, and that happens early next month, which is really not that far away. It's only like 2 weeks away. 5 days of going to work. Insane. I did start a master's degree a few years ago online, and it was okay. I think I just wasn't really enjoying the degree. I ended up not completing that, but this course looks really good. I am already enrolled. In terms of tech, I have good headphones to listen. I have an iPad, who's an iPad gal, and I have a desktop Mac from 2013 that is still well and kicking. So we're going to use that when we need bigger screens. I find it really helpful to have like multiple readings or multiple things open, as opposed to having 2 screens. Setting up my timetable on my iCal. Yeah, just getting stuff done. And my course is online, but I am the kind of girl who does like to write things down. So I've gone old school. If you remember these bad boys from high school. And I will be covering the front. Cutie. Some little sticky notes. I also got this from Kmart. It's a set of 3 notepads. It's a daily, a weekly, and then a notes page. But this will like just schedule priorities, weekly with a to-do list in it, and just some notepad. Sometimes the iCal doesn't cut it and I need to write things down. I need to physically cross them out and get them out of my head as well onto paper. So hoping this will help with that. And I also got the Apple Pencil to go with my iPad. I was gonna buy this when I bought the iPad, but I thought I'd just wait a little bit, and I ended up getting it for a pretty decent price. So I haven't even opened it yet. Cute. This is how you charge the pencil. Let's see how easy it is to set it up. Need a cable. That puppy is ridiculous. Alright. Welcome to Apple Pencil. She works. That's a work of art. The other thing I'm really excited about for online study and traveling too is that I have really been inconsistent with the gym for, it's probably about 2 months since I was like super consistent with my training and my nutrition. I just haven't really been enjoying it. I felt really disinterested, and then I just got super anxious about the whole thing. I'm excited to have some space to find what that looks like for me again. And I have a goal of what I want that to look like, and that is to get back to where I was, but I don't want to force it either. I am really looking forward to traveling, training, trying some different gyms, maybe changing gyms altogether for a fresh space. I'm just not entirely sure, but I'm really excited to have the space to kind of figure those things out. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Who knows what the future will hold, but I'm excited to figure it out.